Howdy, I am the Chinese Zodiac Killer, Messianic Antichrist in training. In the fall of 2020, I made physical contact with a non-human entity after discovering firsthand from experience that we exist within a simulation and much, much more, including that the Earth is soon to experience a cataclysm of apocalyptic proportions. After decades of being a student of the occult, I've had numerous miraculous experiences, and this was not the first time that I made visual contact with a non-human entity. But what was unique about this encounter was that it was the first and only time that I made physical contact. For the record, I was wide awake and not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, or have had any history of schizophrenia or hallucinations, which, after my arrest in 2022 as the Chinese Zodiac Killer, was confirmed by a forensic psychologist. The setting for this encounter was a remote island on a lake in the Adirondack wilderness that my own teacher had introduced me to perhaps over 20 years prior to this, where he claimed that he and his coven used to perform blood rituals at in the past. This particular visit, I had raised my state of consciousness into a higher state of gnosis, reaching an ecstatic state through prayer to serpents, demons, the Sumerian god Enki, and the Norse god Loki, to name a few, continuing on through the night. At some point, exhausted from my efforts, I sat down in a folding chair I had brought and went into a meditative state as I gazed at the fire I had built before me. To my astonishment, just above the fire and to the right, suddenly it was as if a giant, clawed hand instantly manifested, as though a gateway had opened and stretched out towards me, folding all of its fingers in except its clawed index finger, which was pointing straight at my face. I had no fear and was just captivated as the gigantic clawed finger came directly at my right eyeball, where I then felt it pierce directly into my eye. There was no pain, but I could distinctly feel the pressure of it slowly pushing into my eye socket. It then stopped and slowly receded, and as it did, my eyeball stretched with it as though attached. Again, there was no pain, and the only way to explain this is in an analogy. In the movie The Matrix, Morpheus offers Neo a choice to take the red pill and see through the illusion that is masking reality, or to take the blue pill and continue to be trapped in the illusion. Now, after Neo chooses to take the red pill, he sits there for a moment before a mirror. At some point, his image in the mirror captures his attention, and he reaches out and touches the mirror with his finger. As he retracts it, the mirror sticks to his finger and stretches, as though perhaps a soap bubble would when you stuck it to your finger. This is the best analogy I can give as to what it was like when the entity's clawed finger pierced my eyeball and retracted. It was as though my eyeball stretched like a soap bubble attached to the being's clawed finger until at some point it detached and gently snapped back into form, slightly vibrating until stable again. The mysterious hand then continued to retract into the darkness surrounding the fire and disappeared. I instantly yelled out, "That was awesome! Do it again!" And to my amazement, the hand suddenly reappeared again and repeated the entire process. When I told the story to my teacher, he said a similar experience happened to him on that island in the past as well. Afterwards, by both inquiring to my spirit guide for answers as to what this being was, as well as searching for answers within the data stream of the simulation we exist within, which I discovered shortly before this experience, the best answers I can come up with as to the identity of this being and purpose of this experience was that I was being shown the proof that reality itself is, in fact, an illusion by none other than one of the archetypes I had been praying to for hours in ecstasy, the god Loki. And this was one of many experiences that pushed both my sanity and my behavior over the edge, resulting in me engineering a mass media publicity stunt as a writer and an activist to get as much attention to myself and what I had discovered possible. It took 20 months for the FBI terrorist task force to finally find me. And that was only because I had released my identity no less than 5 times, no less than 7 months prior to my arrest. The government had full knowledge of what I was doing and appeared to have covered it up, including sentencing me in a back room with no media present, labeling me in the press statements as the Chinese Zodiac Killer, which was in fact something analogous to a character in one of my stories as a writer that I've been mailing out in my publicity stunt. Yet, they were not able to find me before I published my 493-page book of documented experiences on Amazon Books under my pen name, A. Crowley. Necronomicon MMXX, or Necronomicon 2020, the Book of the Howling Beasts. Everything in this book is real. It is attached to your collective reality now. It is here, and it is fear. Follow and share my channel. There is much more to come, so don't touch that dial. Go to Amazon Books and get yourself a copy of Necronomicon 2020. Join us.